Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Randomized Building, where in between episodes I have gotten a few things. The first thing is I filled up this rocket box. Okay, it's not full because I like to make it the full, so I'll do it when I run out of these, or I just won't fill up for a while. Probably will be the case. But I got a bunch of rockets. The other thing I did was I spent a bunch of time at the end farm that we have. We have Enderman farm now that Ez built. And so I used that and the villagers that we have in order to fill this box. I have an extra elytra, an extra pick, just some other tools that I might want, and an extra full set of gear. So if I were to die and lose my gear, wouldn't be a big deal. I've got this. So that is all fantastic. The other thing I did is this. I went ancient debris mining again because I used the gunpowder farm and I got up a bunch. I think I got 4 stacks. I got 4 stacks of TNT and I only got 9 per stack. I guess is my average, which I got 11 before, but it's okay. We're fine. So yeah, I went netherite mining again, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this all into netherite. We still do not have the patterns in order to turn our gear into netherite. I think Ez will get that when he comes back again. If not, I'll go out and get it. But it's not really like a pressing issue right now. I don't really care that much that my gear is not netherite upgraded yet. I think it's fine. But while I wait for that to smelt, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I want to do in this episode. And I want to start doing what this series is actually supposed to be. It's called Randomized Building because we want to build. And thus far, we've just built farms. Or at least I have just built farms. Ez has done a bit of building with his mountain that I showed off in the last episode. But I have just built farms and done progression things, which is fine because now the building process will be so much more streamlined than it would have been before because I do have gear and an elytra and good tools and everything. But yeah, so I did do all of that before I started building. The whole thing with the random build bit is that we are going to spin a wheel every time we are ready to make a build, and we are going to get a theme from the wheel. And so I spun the wheel. Here it is. There we go. Me spinning the wheel. And I got sci-fi. That is an awesome theme to start with. And quite a lot right there. Now, I was thinking the for the sci-fi build, I think what I want to do is build I'm kind of leaning towards a little town. I'm getting futuristic little town kind of. I know futuristic is kind of like a thing on its own, but it's also kind of sci-fi. They're all, when you really think about it, they're kind of all intertwined. Oh, it's done smelting. Hold up, we're gonna make netherite. Don't know why I said it like that. That was weird. There we go. 9 netherite. Oh, you know what I could also do? Netherite block, just because I can. That's sick. Okay, I'm gonna break this. Because I am not about to lose 9 netherite. No, sir. I have 12 now, which is plenty because I'm definitely going to give a bit of it to Ez if he finds the pattern. If not, he gets to go mine for it himself. This is just how it is. It's kind of a payment, we're going to say. But I think I'm going to build a town. And I think my block palette is going to be a lot of dark blocks and a lot of blues and reds. And just blue, red, green, all a bunch of neons. I'm getting huge neon sign vibes. So I want a little city. So step 1 is to go and find a place, bring some blocks and map it out a little bit. So let's see. What do we have a lot of? We have a lot of netherrack. Let's go. Let's find a spot and I'm going to start mapping out some of the buildings and everything that I want in this little sci-fi futuristic town that I'm going to build. I'm not going to make any plans for this first one purely because I really don't want to plan anything, at least for the first build that I make. I kind of just want it to be me raw building with just kind of a couple ideas in my head. There's a village right here. That's kind of cool. I got it. I've got it. I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna make this village futuristic. I'm gonna use this area and kind of where these houses are as as the building places, and this will be my futuristic village. Oh, this sounds fantastic. Okay. 600 by basically 200. Oh, this is exactly what I'm doing. Okay. Okay. It's time to go home and it's time to plan. I think steps 1 and 2 are going to be first tearing down everything in the village and then putting a bit of an outline on how I want to space things out and everything so I can make this look more cohesive because there's bits over there and there's bits over here that I kind of want to tie all together. Okay. And we got to get a portal set up here too. Oh, this is going to be good. I'm really excited. I really am not a builder. I don't build a lot in this game. But this should be a lot of fun. Okay, so we're gonna start by tearing down all of the houses and laying out a bit of like groundwork, I guess, and I'll come back when I've got that kind of like planned out a little bit better. Yeah, we'll be right back. Alrighty, this is all done. I took down the whole village and I just mapped out the places. Oh no, that guy's gone. There was 2 guys in there too. Huh, they must have got zombified. Anyway, I took down all of the houses in the village and everything, and I cut down all the trees over here, and I put all the villagers in boats. I don't know if I want to keep them around or if I'm just going to end up killing them, but like, I did put them all in boats, and I really like to think that any of them, like these guys who have like animals in their boats, they're best friends. They have made a best friend, and it is like a cow, and I really like that, and that makes me really happy. Anyway, I think that I want to end Memento to like the village and keeping the kind of vibe of the village. I want to keep the houses where they were, or it's gonna be like little towns. So yeah, the houses. So I'm going to, instead of like changing everything about this, I'm just gonna make these bigger. So like this area I'll fill up bigger. That area I'll just make a bigger house so that I have like bigger buildings because like that's tiny. This is the future. Come on, people. Sci-fi. Um, the future sci-fi, you know. Same kind of difference in my mind right now. For this build at least. So I'm gonna make these houses bigger. So let me really quick. I'm gonna sleep and I'm gonna make the houses a tiny bit bigger and I'll be right back. Okay. I have varied the sizes and the shapes of the houses. They're all a little, I don't like how those two are kind of the same. I might change that one around because there's a bit more space. But yeah, I've varied all of these. There's a few that are just rectangles, like I've got one over there, one over there, there's one over there. But then a lot of these have very little shapes and differences. I'm not a huge fan of this one. I'm gonna change this around. Okay, good, because then those two aren't like basically the same thing. Yeah, okay. Now I have this little plan. This is cool. I like it. I like where this is going. Next step is to bring all of my boxes home, sort all of them out, and fill them again with materials that I want to use for this build. So I'm going to clean up my little mess here, as well as I'm going to take this beacon home. I'm going to leave the base here because I want to keep using it, but I think I'm probably going to have to end up mining a little bit. And if I could have a bit of haste over at our house, that would be fantastic. Color for this, I'm gonna do a lot of probably brown. I mean, not brown. Ugh, I just looked at the soul stand and I said brown. I'm gonna do a lot of blacks and grays and like darker colors so that when I do like a neon sign in whatever color I'd like, I'm trapped. It'll stand out a lot more. I'm just gonna go ahead, turn this beacon back to haste. And I'll go ahead and fill up a few shulkers, or however many shulkers I feel like I need, too, with some building blocks. And I'll be back in a bit once that's done. Here we go, let's collect some blocks. Okay, little disclaimer for this next part. You can't actually hear me in my video recording. But I am here with Nerf, and I will voice over my bits. My mic wasn't being picked up through OBS. So basically what's happening is I'm giving Nerf a Spire smithing template because he did end up losing his And he has for me a like what I've been wanting this basically whole episode, and that is the template for the one that makes things into netherite. There we are. We successfully made the trade, and now I have the netherite upgrade smithing template. I also you well obviously I used diamonds and netherrack to duplicate a bunch of these and end up turning all of my stuff into netherite. And here I am upgrading all of my gear and a few of my tools to netherite. I basically upgraded all of my armor and then everything except for like the tools that I have in my shulker box. I also showed off this amazing raid farm that Nerf built. This thing runs incredibly well, and we already have a ton of good stuffs here. I also went and grabbed one of my shulker boxes so that I could fill it up with totems, so I had like unlimited totems, but just like look at these emeralds. Oh, it's amazing. But yeah, I did grab a shulker box to fill up with totems and so that I could have this at any time I need. And finally, I came over to my village to show off the new design of building that I have. I collected up some materials. I went through a whole little building phase and then I like scrapped it and I came out with this and I really like it. I think that it's a good uniform building style that I'll definitely be able to recreate throughout the entire village. Um, it looks round enough, like detailed enough, but also uniform enough where I feel like because the future or a sci-fi, some sort of that, would be very uniform and they would all kind of look very similar. So I think that's a nice similar pattern that I can recreate all over the village in all of the other kind of houses. Also, because they do kind of look flat on like the top, I decided that on the top of them I would put on a few little details just to make these look more real. So I've got like an antenna on here and like a little spinny thing. On the inside here, I've got these end rods, which I don't love like the particles that they give off, but I do feel like it gives a nice like a good amount of light obviously, and then a nice like almost school building type look where it's all very uniform again, which is another goal of this thing, to look all very much so the same. So from here, my next step is to gather up more materials and go ahead and build this kind of house everywhere else in the village and just continue on with this little design. All right, I've made progress on the village, obviously not over there, but over here. Look at this. This looks so fantastic. I think, oh, I love this. I love it so much. I really like, I just really like the uniformity. I just really like it all. I did make a couple of these that have multiple layers. There's also things on top of all the buildings. I feel like just like, okay, I've got like a little fan, obviously the antennas, and then these wooden things, they're like water heaters. So a couple of them have water heaters on top. And yeah, so I've got a ton of stuffs. As for the double layer ones, I kind of figured that the bottom of these could be a shop. Because there's definitely enough room down here for it to be a shop. And then I just added a bit of a come on. A bit of a staircase, there we are. Up to this top level. I'll show you the other one too. All of the other like single houses are pretty much the same, just in here. Space-wise and everything, very similar. Let me go over here. Let's look at this one. Yeah, this one's a little bit bigger on the inside just because it was a square. So there's not very many turns and everything. It's more open for sure. And then up here, I do have a little area for like a little bedroom or something that someone could, quote, live in. Up there, like on top of their store and something. Because I I hate these doors. I really like the idea of this village being like a little self-contained area that just kind of like set up here and now they can all live here and sustain themselves here. So that being said, there probably will be some plantation areas. I had the idea of while I was building this, um, to make maybe like a little market square out here. And then over behind here, perhaps like a little playground or something, like a little park. Because I feel like some greenery or something in here would be nice, considering I'm gonna build a giant wall around it and probably fill the ground with a lot of grays and such. Like a little developed area around in a world that maybe isn't doing so great on the outside, perhaps a zombie apocalypse or some sort. This is going to be the center of the town right here. I'm going to kind of bring the wall out and around here. I'm going to terraform this water bit a little bit because I don't love how there's a bunch of water within here. So I'm definitely going to be getting rid of that and terraforming and filling up a bit of this little pond. So this is going to be the town center. So perhaps like another park here or something like that. Perhaps like a huge, I keep saying perhaps, it's kind of funny. Maybe like a huge statue here would be kind of cool as well. Something of the sort to show who this town was built for. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I do think that's where I'm going to end it off for today, just because I still have a bunch of buildings to do, and I don't want to just crank out a whole village in one episode. I feel, or a whole build in one episode. I feel like that's not the bestest. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to end off the episode for today. Progress has been insane. Obviously, we are covered in netherite, which is already a huge like progress step, and this village is looking fantastic. I will have more like things built up, or not built up, but like collected before I start the next episode. But with that, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more from this series, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye!